my favorite Urban Decay eyeshadow palettes. I want to show them to you here. First I have the Urban Decay After Dark palette. This one recently released, and I love all of the jewel tones in it. They're amazing. I love Urban Decay for its jewel tones and colors. So in my top favorites here, you will not find the Naked palettes, but I do like those as well. And my favorite eyeshadow colors are definitely blues. Different tones of blues, just blue in general. My next and the top favorite I have here is the Moondust palette. I had to have it for collection, even though it's not something that I would use all the time or by itself. Like just using this palette by itself, I wouldn't really do that. But I had to own it. Next I have the 15th Anniversary palette. It's a jewelry box design, so the lid just comes right off. Here are the colors. I really like that. And then the second version they made in similar packaging. That one is the Urban Spectrum palette. And I like this one even more than the first one they did, because this one has more blues in it and more colorful colors in general. So there's that one. Next I want to show you this palette, the Gwen Stefani palette. This palette at first I was not going to buy because I did not like the color selection, and I told myself I'd only buy it if I can get it for really cheap. So I ended up getting it for really cheap secondhand, and I was impressed with this palette. Very, very impressed. I completely turned around my opinion on it when I actually owned it and started using it. First I only bought it just to have it. I didn't really think I was going to like it because of the color selection, but I was pleasantly surprised. So there's that one. Next I have all of the Vice palettes that they ever released. Here's the first one. Just love all of those colors. I mean, look at these three pops of colors here: Blitz, Unhinged, and Noise. They're just so bright and inviting. You can be so creative with these Vice palettes. And a lot of people say that these Vice palettes don't have neutral colors in them, but they do. If they cover all the colorful colors, you'll see you have, almost half the palette's neutral. Like this top row is all neutral. This side row over there is neutral. This bottom row is practically neutral if you take the pink out. So that's nice. Then I have the Vice 2. This is probably my favorite of all the Vice palettes. There's two blues in it, two really cool purples. Just love it. And this one has the prettiest packaging. Not sure if I showed you the packaging on the first one. That's it there. Then we have the Vice 3. This one I actually did have opportunity to buy in store, but I missed out on it because I told myself I'm not really going to use this. It doesn't have that much color in it compared to the previous palettes, but I ended up buying it anyway for a collection. And this one's even more neutral than the others because that middle row is practically neutral if you take that purple out, and then that side row and this row are definitely neutral. So there's a Vice 3. Then we have the Vice Limited. This one came out shortly after the Vice 3. And I really like the color selection in here. Very cool. It's not that many blues in it, but it's definitely different compared to all the previous Vices that were released. Really cool. the packaging for that one. Then lastly we have, or not lastly actually, this is the Vice 4. I also have an opportunity to buy this one in store, and I did not end up buying it in store because the colors just were not calling to me again. Like, of all the Vices, this is the one I like the least. It just has 3 greens there, and I think green, it's not heavily a blue-green. Green just doesn't look that good on me. I don't really like wearing green eyeshadows that much. So when I saw this and saw that the main pops of color were green, you know, kind of bored me. But I had to own it, you know, for part of my collection. But yeah, of all the Vices, this is the most boring. And here's what the front of my Vice 4 looks like. Ended up being more bluey green, which is what I wanted. Then lastly in this collection we have the Vice Limited Reloaded, which came out with the Vice 4. This one I did end up buying in store because the colors were just calling to me. But also compared to all the previous Vices, this one is probably ranked number 5. If this one down here is the worst, or at least least interesting to me, this is number 5, just being right above that one down there. So those are the colors in there. And here's what the outside of the palette looks like. So that's my collection here of my top favorite Urban Decay palettes. There they are. I'll probably do a full collection of my Urban Decay palettes at some later time. Bye.